दया सिंधु அனைவரின் பாதுகாப்பு மற்றும் நல்வாழ்வுக்காக நடைபெற்று வரும் ஸ்ரீ நரசிம்ம அர்ச்சோத்சவம் அர்ச்சனையில் இன்று நமது மதிப்பிற்கும் மரியாதைக்குரிய திரு ஜெயபதா சுவாமி குருமாராஜ் அவர்கள் உடல் ஆரோக்கியம் விரைவில் குணமடைய ஸ்ரீ சுலாநஷ்டம் தேவிடம் நம்ம சிறப்பு பிரார்த்தனை செய்கிறோம். மேலும் பக்தின் மலர்கொடி பக்தர் தேவராஜ் பிரபு ஆகியோருக்காகவும் அவர்களது ஆரோக்கியம் விரைவில் குணமடையும் பகவான் ஸ்ரீ சுலாநஷ்டம் தேவிடம் நம்ம சிறப்பு பிரார்த்தனை செய்கின்றோம். ஓம் அஞ்ஞானாதிமிராந்தஸ்ய ஞானாஞ்சனசலாக்கயா चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशधारिणे। जय श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय नरसिंह श्री नरसिंह, जय जय श्री नरसिंहदेव। प्रह्लादेश जय पद्मा मुखपद्मा भृंगा। उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं जलंधं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं बीजनं भद्रं मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम्। ओम नरसिंहाय नमः, ओम महासिंहाय नमः, ओम दिव्यसिंहाय नमः, ओम महाबलाय नमः, ओम रुद्रसिंहाय नमः, ओम महादेवाय नमः, ओम संपजाय नमः, ओम उग्रलोचनाय नमः, ओम रौद्राय नमः, ओम सर्वस्वदाय नमः, ओम श्रीमनाय नमः, ओम योगानंदाय नमः, ओम त्रिविक्रमाय नमः, ओम हरिणे नमः, ओम गोलागलाय नमः, ओम शक्रिणे नमः, ओम जयाय नमः, ओम जयवर्धनाय नमः, ओम पांजननाय नमः, ओम परब्रह्माय नमः, ओम अघोराय नमः, ओम गौरविक्रमाय नमः, ओम जलान्मुखाय नमः, ओम जलमालिने नमः, ओम महाजलाय नमः, ओम महाप्रभुवाय नमः, ओम निधिलक्षाय नमः, ओम सहस्राक्षाय नमः, ओम तुनिरीक्षाय नमः, ओम प्रतापनाय नमः, ओम महादंसाय नमः, ओम विदप्रज्ञाय नमः, ओम चंडकोपिने नमः, ओम सदाशिवाय नमः, ओम हिरण्यकशिपुतंसिने नमः, ओम दैत्यतांडवकांचनाय नमः, ओम गुणभद्राय नमः, ओम महाभद्राय नमः, ओम बलभद्राय नमः, ओम सुभद्राकाय नमः, ओम गरुडाय नमः, ओम विकरलाय नमः, ओम विकर्ताय नमः, ओम सर्वकार्तिकाय नमः, ओम शिशुमाराय नमः, ओम निर्लोकात्माय नमः, ओम ईशाय नमः, ओम सर्वेश्वराय नमः, ओम विभुवाय नमः, ओम पैगम्बराय नमः, ओम दिव्याय नमः, ओम अस्थिराय नमः, ओम कालिने नमः, ओम माधवाय नमः, ओम अधोक्षजाय नमः, ओम अक्षराय नमः, ओम सर्वाय नमः, ओम मनमालिने नमः, ओम वरप्रदाय नमः, ओम स्वयंवराय नमः, ओम अद्भुताय नमः, ओम पाव्याय नमः, ओम श्री विष्णुवे नमः, ओम पुरुषोत्तमाय नमः, ओम अनगस्त्राय नमः, ओम नगस्त्राय नमः, ओम सूर्यज्योतिने नमः, ओम सुरेश्वराय नमः, ओम सहस्रभागाय नमः, ओम सर्वज्ञाय नमः, ओम सर्वशक्तिप्रदायकाय नमः, ओम वज्रदंशाय नमः, ओम वज्रनगाय नमः, ओम महानंदाय नमः, ओम परन्दभाय नमः, ओम सर्वमंत्रैक्यरूपाय नमः, ओम सर्वेन्द्रविदारमाय नमः, ओम सर्वतंत्रात्मकाय नमः, ओम अव्यक्ताय नमः, ओम सुव्यक्ताय नमः, ओम भक्तवत्सलाय नमः, ओम वैशाख शुक्लभूतोत्ताय नमः, ओम शरणागतवत्सलाय नमः, ओम दारकीर्तिने नमः, ओम पुण्यात्माय नमः, ओम महात्माय नमः, ओम चंद्रविक्रमाय नमः, ओम वेदात्रेयाय नमः, ओम प्रभुज्याय नमः, ओम भगवानाय नमः, ओम परमेश्वराय नमः, ओम श्रीवत्संगाय नमः, ओम जगद्व्यापिने नमः, ओम जगन्मायाय नमः, ओम जगत्पालाय नमः, ओम जगन्नाथाय नमः, ओम महाकाय नमः, ओम दिव्यरूपप्रदाय नमः, ओम परमात्माय नमः, ओम परमज्योतिने नमः, ओम निर्गुणाय नमः, विकेशिने नमः, ओम परतत्वाय नमः, ओम परमधामाय नमः, ओम सच्चिदानंदविग्रहाय नमः, ओम लक्ष्मीनरसिंहाय नमः, ओम सर्वात्माय नमः, ओम तीराय नमः, ओम प्रह्लादपालकाय नमः। ओम उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं जलंधं सर्वतोमुखं नरसिंहं बीजनं भद्रं मृत्युर्नमाम्यहम्। जय नरसिंह श्री नरसिंह, जय जय श्री नरसिंहदेव। प्रह्लादेश जय पद्मा मुखपद्मा भृंगा। नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददायिने हरण्याकाशीपूर्वकः Siladangana-kalaye Yo Nasima Parato Nasima Yado Yado Yami Gato Nasima Pahi Nasima Hridaye Nasima Narasima Malim Charanam Prabhate Tava Karakamala-vare Naha Atuda Singha Kaliga Hiranyakasipu Tanu Vringam Jaya Keshavadita Narahari Rupa Jaya Hadisa Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare श्री श्री कला नृसिंहदेव भगवान की, श्री श्री जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रा महारानी की, श्री श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की, हरि पंचलक प्रभुपाद की।
Hare Krishna naram chiva narottamam daivim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udiraye nashtaprayeshu abhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati ruttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naishtiki. So, reading text 17 of Canto 3, Chapter 21 again. Lokamscha lokanugatan pashumscha hitava shitaste charanat tapatram parasparam tvat gunavada sidhu piyusha nirayapita dehadharmaha. Translation. However, persons who have given up stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs, and who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet, by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities, in discussions with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body. Purport. After describing the necessity of married life, Kardama Muni asserts that marriage and other social affairs are stereotyped regulations for persons who are addicted to material sense enjoyment. The principles of animal life, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, are actually necessities of the body. For those who engage in transcendental Krishna consciousness, giving up all the stereotyped activities of this material world, are freed from social conventions. Conditioned souls are under the spell of material energy or eternal time, past, present, and future. But as soon as one engages in Krishna consciousness, he transcends the limits of past and present and becomes situated in the eternal activities of the soul. One has to act in terms of the Vedic injunctions in order to enjoy material life. But those who have taken to the devotional service of the Lord are not afraid of the regulations of this material world. Such devotees do not care for the conventions of material activities. They boldly take to that shelter which is like an umbrella against the sun of repeated birth and death. Constant transmigration of the soul from one body to another is the cause of suffering in material existence. This conditioned life in material existence is called samsara. One may perform good work and take its birth in a very nice material condition. But the process under which birth and death take place is like a terrible fire. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura, in his prayer to the spiritual masters, described this. Samsara, or the repetition of birth and death, is compared to a forest fire. A forest fire takes place automatically without anyone's endeavor, by the friction of dried wood, and no fire department or sympathetic person can extinguish it. The raging forest fire can be extinguished only when there is a constant downpour of water from a cloud. Water is compared to the mercy of the spiritual master. By the grace of the spiritual master, the cloud of mercy of the personality of Godhead is brought in. And then only when the rains of Krishna consciousness fall can the fire of material existence be extinguished. This is also explained here. In order to find freedom from the stereotyped conditional life of material existence, one has to take shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, not in the manner in which the impersonalists indulge, but in devotional service, chanting and hearing of the activities of the Lord. Only then can one be freed from the actions and reactions of material existence. It is recommended here that one should give up the conditioned life of this material world and the association of so-called civilized human beings, who are simply following in a polished way the same stereotyped principles of eating, sleeping, defending and mating. Chanting and hearing the glories of the Lord is described here as Tvat Gunavata Siddhi. Only by the drinking of nectar, of chanting and hearing the pastimes of the Lord can we forget the intoxication of material existence. ओमज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं सागरजातं सहगणरघुनाथन्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमां विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणि प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौरभक्तवृंदा हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So this is a very interesting shloka. Parasparam tvad gunavad sidhu hitva shritaste charanatta patram atapatram means umbrella, charana means lotus feet, loka anugatan pashun chahitva having given up, shritaha taking shelter, te your, parasparam with one another, tvat gunavad sidhu your qualities, vada by discussion, sidhu intoxicating, piyusha by the nectar, niryapita extinguished, deha dharmaha the prime necessities of the body. So in this brilliant purport, Prabhupada is explaining what Kardama Muni is praying to the Lord. For those of you who are not part of the Bhakti Vaibhav sessions, this is a Kardama Muni's prayers after his penances. And he is seeing the Lord in front of him. And he has the unique opportunity to see the Lord and his beautiful form. And he is completely absorbed. Also, he was absorbed in his meditation. He was very absorbed. And he saw the Lord. And the Lord was asked by Kardama Muni. His prayer was that he should get a good wife. That is also mentioned here. Good wife means not like people in this Kali Yuga may think who a good wife is. In Kali Yuga, good wife means she should be earning, she should know cooking, she should be able to look after the children, she should do everything that I tell her to do, she should keep me happy. Lots of different types of requirements. Some are always thinking to get an obedient wife, completely surrendered to me. In this way, many people have many different types of expectations, but most often than not, it is not at all express their expectations, which they come to know after marriage. What you want, you will not get. You will get what you deserve. It's karma. What you deserve, you will get. But there's nothing wrong in expecting something. But you must know what to expect. What is the role a wife should play in your life, in your grahastha life? For that, if you're a cultured man, cultured according to Vedic regulations like Kardama Muni is, then you're very conscious of the fact that you have to meet the goal of life. which is Krishna consciousness. And for that sake, I need a wife. And on the side, I have to also do my other duties. My Krishna conscious duties is one thing, and my Varnashrama duties is another thing. Conditional duties and my constitutional duties. But basically, I must choose a wife for my constitutional duty of going back to Godhead, so that she can also benefit. Secondary purpose is the Varnashrama duties. Putra tet kriyet bharya, putra pinda prayojanam. For the sake of getting a putra, putrartet kriyet bharya. Bharya means wife. For the sake of getting a son, I must get a wife. Putra pinda prayojanam. Why? The son has to offer pinda and do the antishti kriya, the last rites for me. Otherwise, I'll roam around like a ghost without being attended to. For antishti kriya, you need. This is Varnashrama Dharma. Prabhupada explains this. Putra means punnama naraka iti trayate. That person who saves me from going to the hell called Pun is called Putra. Tra means trayate, saves you. Pu means Pun, Naraka called Pun. If you don't perform your rites as per the Varnashrama, this thing, don't have the samskaras, if you don't do properly the rites, then you will go to hell. The rules in this world for existing and enjoying material life are very strong. So, I need a son. For getting a son, I need a wife. Therefore, I need to get married. This is Vedic regulation. This is Prabhupada's explanation in the different sections of the Bhagavatam. I'm just paraphrasing, summarizing it. Spiritually, people talk only about material life normally. This is cultured material life. Then you will look for a wife like this, like this, like that. Because in cultured material life, Vedic culture is, I will, do my duty. I have restrained sense gratification. And I will produce children. For the sake of producing children, I have to have some gratification in the process. I have to eat, my stomach, I am hungry and my body has to be maintained, therefore I have to eat. In the process of eating, my tongue will be getting the gratification it requires by eating various types of food. That's all. In the process of executing Varnashrama duties, within the rules and regulations, whatever sense gratification is afforded, that's all a civilized man will get and should look for. He should not forget all the other rules and regulations, forget the purpose of Varnashrama, and simply go behind gratification. That is tasting very good. Give me more, give me more, give me more, give me more. And become addicted, attached to it, get diseased, everything. It's just completely animal life. Worse than animal life. I mean, animals are much better. So, civilized human life is according to codes, laws given by the law. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Those laws are followed and you have restricted sense gratification. Sense gratification is allowed. It is mentioned here, we read in the purport earlier, we must have seen. It's mentioned very clearly that sense gratification, Krishna is arranged for us. He's arranging the sense gratification. So, Kardamuni here is desiring to have a good wife. Don't take it isolated. He wants a good wife who will be materially satisfactory to him, will also help him to go back to God. This is the wholesome requirement he is asking. You can see here, he's asking, Therefore, desiring to marry a girl of like disposition who may prove to be a veritable cow of plenty in my married life, to satisfy my lustful desire, I too have sought the shelter of your lotus feet, which are the source of everything, for you are like a desired tree. Tata sachaham paribodukamaha samanashilam grahame dadhenum upaye ivan moolam ashesha moolam durashayah kama dudhankripasya. So that is the real need for wife. So a civilized, educated man knows why he is getting married. What is the purpose of life? If you get married soon only for sense gratification, you are lower than an animal. And you'll have tremendous amount of problems. Because for only sense gratification means you won't look at anything else but just looks, how to satisfy my lust. Whether the person is cultured, whether he knows the goal of life, whether he is educated, whether he can help me to become Krishna conscious. None of these things are considered. None of these things are considered. So this is the setting, and this is what Kardama Muni is asking when he sees the Lord. And he is also feeling bad that I'm asking you this, although I should be asking you to go back to God. But that is my situation. What can I do? Please bless me so that I will never forget you. Tvad Gunavada Siddhu. Persons who are able to get attracted to your pastimes and chanting of your holy names and spend their time doing this, they don't have to do all these things. They don't have to get married, follow the rules and regulations, and do all that. For them, these rules and regulations are not there at all. Because all the time they are doing only chanting of the holy name, serving you in various different ways, discussing your pastimes, and in this way beating their everyday life. So the life is filled with the whole ultimate purpose of life itself. So they don't have to worry about all this. But I can see that I am in that position where I need that help because I need to take care of my material life and also pursue the real goal of life. So you see how clearly Kardama Muni knows about the goal of life and he knows what is the highest goal of life. Where I am situated, how I must adjust it, therefore I should get married. And it will be nice if I can get a dutiful, nice wife who will satisfy both my material needs and help me. Now, the wife who comes must also think like this, no? The wife also must think like this, no? That's why Krishna's blessings are required. It's not enough if you think like this alone and get married and then afterwards just find out that the wife is something else. She doesn't have the same type of feeling. That's why it's mentioned here that he's saying, Samana Sheelam Grahameda Dhenu, a girl of like disposition. Samana Sheelam. So, our shloka today, after these prayers are over, and very clearly Kardama Muni is saying, I know everything about how you rule this world, how the living entities are stuck up, and how you are creating this facility and what is your purpose. All this I know. And I very much want to be like that. Those type of persons who have given up stereotype worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs, who have taken shelter of the umbrella of your lotus feet by drinking the intoxicating nectar of your qualities and activities in discussions with one another, can be freed from the primary necessities of the material body. Actually, if I was like that, I wouldn't have had this necessity at all. But I have understood nicely my nature and my karma and my situation, and I need this. But I know that if I had given it up completely and I need not have to do this. So he knows very well where he is situated and why he needs to get married. And what is the goal of life? And he knows what is Krishna's position. So his prayer is very well informed prayer, very well informed, very well educated prayer. It's not that the prayer lacks understanding of Krishna's position, his requirement, what Krishna can give, etc. All this is known to him. All this is known to him. Very well educated person. And is able to even understand that I am educated enough to understand that I should not be asking you this. But my situation necessitates. Therefore, so the comparison he is making is to those persons who are able to give up stereotype to worldly affairs. Stereotype means the same thing again and again. No. Punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, jhatare shayanam iha samsare, bahudustare, kripaya pare, pahi murare. Shankaracharya's Rajagovindam song. It is mentioned that this stereotype life of eating, mating, sleeping, defending, and then regular problems come. Regular things happen in this material world. There's a pattern to it because this is a prison house. And there is a stereotyped worldly affairs and the beastly followers of these affairs. Whole world is engaged in that stereotype. Why? Because Maya engages you. In the prison house, there is a stereotype. Why? You have to be disciplined, you are punished. You have to wake up in the morning, you have to do all your certain labor type of thing that's given to you. You have to stand in the queue and take your food. And you will get exactly what you're supposed to get only. Some kanji you'll get, some this thing you'll get, some little bit. It will not be, you cannot go and say, there's not enough salt in it. I am actually feeling like vomiting. I want to drink this. They just give you one slap. You just have to take what is given to you. So no choice. And you have to simply do what you're asked to do. You have to work. All these things are set in the prison house. But people think they are not in the prison house. That is a central jail there. I am not there. I am a nice citizen. But you are a citizen of a greater prison house than the one that is there. And in the prison house, the greater prison house, still there are higher controllers. The wardens of the material world, Prabhupada says, are the demigods. They will not allow you to do this and that. Within this scope of certain area and the boundaries, you can do what you want. And if you commit sinful activities, you'll get a whack also. You'll get punished nicely in Yamaraj's Loka and you'll be sent back. Inside only, Punarapi Janaram, Punarapi Maranam is happening. Iha samsare bahudustare. What a painful existence it is. Kripaya pare pahi murare. Please allow me to cross this. Oh, please have mercy on me. Pahi murari. So, this worldly affairs means to do with my body, to do with my desires, to do with my material requirements, to do with my sense gratification. Everybody is burnt and is running behind all these things. Although he knows it is not good, it is not giving him what he wants. For want of education, they don't know what to desire. So they are running behind this. This is stereotyped worldly affairs. You can predict what will happen. You can predict. Everybody requires eating, mating, sleeping, defending. And therefore, there is organization here. If there is no organization, it will be total pell-mell chaos. Organization in this material world and leadership in this material world completely boils down to everybody having illicit material sense gratification. That's what it boils down to. Organization is for the sake of that. That's why Krishna is not involved in that. The demigods are only involved in that. All this kachpach details of, he did this, he did that, he did not do it to me. Okay, you suffer like this punishment, you take this. All the integrity, management of people and their desires and their sinful activities, their pious activities, and they're expending them for sense gratification. All this is material world, keeping account of it, who gets what, protecting those who, and all that is the demigod's job. It's actually very messy. And Krishna is very sophisticated. It's mentioned those who can understand the sophistication of Krishna and the high class nature of devotion service, who simply revel and they're drunk, it's mentioned, drunk and reveling in the pastimes of the Lord. Parivadatu jano yata tatava nanu mukharo na vishayayamaha haridasamadhira mata himatta bhuviluthamo natamo nirvisamaha. Devotees who are very well educated about all these things and who are completely kept away from this. This is a nice shloka from the Padyavali of Rupa Goswami. Parivadatu jano yata tatava. The world is filled with people who will say all sorts of things about you according to worldly affairs and stereotyped affairs. If you do Krishna consciousness, they'll blame you, they'll shout at you, they'll scold you, they'll not like you. Even your closest associate will not like you because you're working against their sense gratification. The criterion for everything in this world is sense gratification. If you touch people's sense gratification, they recoil at you like nothing. It's the most sensitive area. And the subtler and subtler and subtler gratifications people have. They don't even know that they are having sense gratification like this, of the subtlest type. But they move and act according to their requirements under the direction of material energy. Right? So everything moves around sense gratification. So it's mentioned here that devotees of the Lord have said no to that. For me, everything moves around the holy name, moves around Krishna's Bhagavatam and the pastimes and association of devotees who discuss this. Harinam Kirtan, some simple food to eat, and I will observe myself in this one. Such persons, Maya cannot put a hook on them and pull them because there is nothing they want in this material world. Swarga apavarga narikeshu apitulyartha darshina. Only if you have a stake in matter, in the material world, you can allow Maya to actually put a hold on you. But if you don't have anything to do with the material world, you don't want any sense gratification, so you cannot be hooked on. So all of them who are stuck in the sticky paste of sense gratification, they will all come under the sway of Maya. But the persons who constantly drink Tvat Gunavada Siddhu, they are constantly involved in drinking the intoxicating beverage of Krishna's pastimes. Hari Rasa Madira Matali Matta. It's mentioned here. Parivadatu Jano Yata Tatava. All these materialistic people talking about worldly affairs, now let them talk what they want. Nanu Mukharo, Hari Rasa Madira. I am completely absorbed in Hari Rasa. Chanting the name of the Lord, hearing his beautiful pastimes. As Ramachandra, what all he did. How affectionate he was. How wonderful are your qualities. Tvat guna vada siddhi. Your gunas are so wonderful. Right? So he's drunk with that. Makaranda liham satam. Another shloka in the Bhagavatam says, devotees are used to licking up the honey that drips from the lotus feet of the Lord. This is what is their real thrill and pleasure. What a way to describe it. The Bhagavatam describes these things in a high class way. Makaranda liham satam. The lotus feet of the Lord is dripping with honey, and the devotees are licking it up. This is what they want in life. This is the goal of their life. To a materialistic person, this will sound completely obnoxious, fictional, and unattainable, impractical, and a pie in the sky. You guys are idiots, wasting your time. Where do you see all these things? Right? But one thing they see is that the devotees are happy. They are chanting kirtan, bhajan, they eat nice prasadam, they discuss Krishna. Fearlessly they do this, and they are addicted to that. So, two types of people. Primary necessities of the body, like having a good wife and catering to the children, earning the money, spending that, and tackling so many small problems. My daughter's wedding, my son's job, my this pay piece, this thing, that thing, there are 101 associated things that come. Then the in-law said this, then the daughter will cry and come back home. Then there will be a fight within the in-laws and this thing. All these regular stuff that goes on in the material world. They are freed from that primary necessities of the material body, and therefore associated things as mentioned. Beastly followers of these affairs. All those things I don't have to be worried about. I don't have any stake in that. So a devotee is very smart and he is very lightly existing in the material world without getting entangled unnecessarily, without attachment. He just is there for the sake of getting Krishna conscious. So he becomes very different. So Kardama Muni knows about that. There are people like that. I am not one of them, though I would very much want to be like that. In this way, the great, um, you know, knowledge of Krishna consciousness, indulgence in Krishna consciousness, all this is being spoken about here. To the extent that one sees these things, realizes these things, educates himself in these things, and then practices these things, not just externally alone. Karmana manasa dhya, the mind, body, intelligence, properly application. That person becomes free. That person becomes free. So Prabhupada's institution, International Society of Krishna Consciousness, is meant for this purpose. It is meant for giving a chance to everybody to get out, to get free. So even though our devotees do enter Grahastha life, they should do that with the full understanding, like Kardama Muni, of what's in store for me, what will happen, and how I should prepare myself. This is very important for them. So this is a great series of shlokas, especially for those people who are entering Grahastha life. They should nicely study this. What is the real meaning of Grahastha life? What are we trying to get? Lots of problems coming in Kali Yuga, in Grahastha lives. A lot of marriages go kaput. After 2-3 years, there is divorce. Constantly I keep hearing. Right? Constantly I keep hearing. It's not at all possible for them to stick on. Their threshold of patience, tolerance, and all that is very, very low. Very, very low. So it doesn't sustain itself. But you will see in the story how, because of taking great care in getting married to the right person, Kardama Muni has gained for himself a wonderful pathway arranged by the Lord himself for his sense gratification and then for his liberation. Right? So it is not bad. Sometimes we may think to even go to the Lord for a material requirement. That's what Kardama Muni went for. What to do? Inevitably, I'm like that. But Prabhupada says that for whatever you need, you must go only to the Lord. Akama sarvakamo va mokshakamo udaradi tivrena bhakti yogena yajeta purusham param. If a person knows that I have nobody else but the Lord, I want to enjoy like this, I've tried my best to control it, but it's not possible. Therefore, I'm going to the Lord and I'm asking Him, it is like this. I'm an individual and it's happening like this to me. Please set me on the right track so I reform myself. And I want to, get a person who will help me like this. Then Krishna grants it. So sometimes we talk about pure devotion service only, we should ask and all that. Of course, it's not that Kardama Muni is not performing pure devotion service. He is performing pure devotion service. And for that only he is taking a wife. So sometimes people get the idea that if you get married, you're falling down or something. There's nothing like that. You see Kardama Muni's life. After that, he gets married to Devahuti. And Devahuti also performs so much of austerities with him. And then at the right time, when it is ripe, he conceives in Devahuti under her request. And he produces children. Many girl children he had. And then finally he got Kapila. And then he entrusted everything to Kapila. You are the son, also the Supreme Personality God, give me blessings, look after your mother. And he leaves. Very successful life. Very, very successful life, materially and spiritually. When we read Devahuti and Kardamuni's life history, you will be wondering, wow, what opulent enjoyment he had. He had a spaceship in the sky. His wife, he wanted to take her out. You've been such a good wife to me. And, so paka, I want to give you the greatest of the material experiences. So he took her all over the universe, not just ordinary pilgrimage, but all over the universe. He was so pleased with her Krishna consciousness, her qualities, her service, everything. He gave her a wonderful experience, material experience, sense gratification experience. And then at the end of it, Kapila was born also. And he entrusted everything to Kapila and left back to God. Kapila himself says that to him, I bless you, please go ahead. So, Kardama Muni's life, for a cultured person, you can very well think about this very deeply. That sometimes, most of the times, all the families are not very much into that type of a culture. In Kali Yuga, rarely you find somebody who's got some sort of a background, a culture, a Vaishnava culture, especially not just simply materially pious. At least Vishnu is worshipped at home and you are taking prasadam. Though everybody is stuck in, he's a chartered accountant, this fellow has got that company, this fellow likes that, they're a little bit light. At least at home you eat prasadam. And then when you introduce them to Krishna consciousness, boom, they take it up like a fish takes to water, very seriously, right? So there are a lot of cultured families also. And in their families, still we see that Devahuti Kardama type of marriages take place. And they render both the duties properly. And they achieve the goal of life. They're also pretty serious. Uh, the equivalent of that, Prabhupada has given the community of Krishna consciousness, where our devotees, we chant Hare Krishna, follow regulated principles, we take only prasadam, no meat eating, no intoxication, no illicit sex, no gambling. All this we follow. And we keep up our vows, and husband and wife produce children with full blessings of Krishna, and those children be very Krishna conscious because you're maintaining a good Krishna conscious sadhana. And in this way, by the time they get old, they become very happy. My children are Krishna conscious. I am able to do some seva. I chant Hare Krishna and I read the Bhagavatam and explain to others also. In this way, what more is there in life to look at? So this Prabhupada's great gift of Krishna consciousness, the community, the temple, the deity worship, the service that you can do for the Lord is an amazing contribution. It's exactly like what Kardama Muni wants. So within our family and society, many qualified boys and girls can get married. And they both are thinking in their mind, I want to do this for Krishna. I want to, at the end of life, be able to chant Hare Krishna and leave the body nicely, like that. They all have got a goal, even youngsters. I was in Houston, Texas. And once, as soon as I arrived, they told me you have to speak to, I think I told you this before, to all the, youngsters. So they were waiting for me. We had dinner together. Very smart boys and girls. Fathers are all professionals. And The previous generation of devotees have done a lot for developing the community. It's a beautiful community. We've got a lot of housing next to the temple. We've got a big restaurant and beautiful deities, Tamal Krishna Maharaj. And established all these things very nicely, and his disciples are doing beautiful hall, cultural hall, and school running, big restaurant, and nice, beautiful temple, housing on the other side, devotees staying very nice villas. Just walking distance. I was staying in one of those villas and walking up to the temple. Hardly, a few minutes walk. And in the community, many such communities. In the community, everybody gets an opportunity to worship the Lord, to hear from devotees who come by, to perform various type of services. And similar to what Kardama Muni doing according to the rich cultural heritage that they have, even today it is possible that in the Krishna consciousness movement, we can have boy and girl very well qualified in Krishna consciousness and also materially qualified. And samana shidam, like it is mentioned here, sajatiya, same type of mental disposition, psychological thing. They get married together, and they do a lot for the society, for the community. They bring in money, they bring in their expertise, they work in the outside world and bring resources. And everybody starts contributing like that, and the community grows so wonderfully. So here in Coimbatore also, we are expecting and thinking that we will be able to make a community of devotees based on worship of Radha and Krishna, Jagannath, Balaram, Subhadra, Shishi, Gaur, Nitai, etc. And everybody will take part actively in doing the services and maintain a community and attract people to Krishna consciousness. So these are not ordinary instructions that Prabhupada has written. When he has written these instructions reflecting something that happened eons ago, he's taking those principles and he has given it to us for this day and life in the now. Don't think it is something fantastic which we cannot do. The same thing has been translated into this day and age by Prabhupada and shown us this is the way to do it. This is the way to think. This is the mental makeup that's required. So when we read the Bhagavatam in these areas, we should not think that these things are not possible. The Bhagavatam will not speak anything that is not possible. Just that the principles are all possible because we are all spirit souls, part and parcel of Krishna. The details may change a little bit. The details may change. That's all. Going to the house of the in-laws, the daughter is normally doesn't belong to the parents anymore after she is married. That's why they say Kanya Dhanam. Dhanam is given. The boy is not given as a Dhanam. The parents keep him. It's only the Kanya who comes this side. She comes to a different house. She has to forget her previous house. Of course, sometimes father and mother meet and everything, but we are not belonging to that house anymore. We are belonging to the new house. So, in the new house, in a cultural setting, she learns to worship Krishna still. She learns to render service, make naivedyam or offering, make this, that, everything, and nicely set up. So you don't need to even think like that in the Krishna conscious community. You can be part of the community. Automatically, Harinam, Sankirtan, so many numerous beautiful activities. I was in London and they were taking this huge, about 150 devotees, I think on Oxford Street. I was there in the temple we have, the restaurant underneath. Very nice places, very well settled, very well managed. The restaurant and the whole temple on the top, and if you get down and walk the other side of the Oxford Street. Every Saturday, devotees do kirtan, the whole community comes out. With kids and ladies, and everybody dance and chant. It's a spectacle for people to watch. Yeah, the Hare Krishnas. They look so happy. Tilak and all of them dancing in the streets. What a display of and lifestyle. I thought it's far better advertisement than all the huge shops showing that advertisement, this advertisement. I was just thinking of Prabhupada's amazing capacity to proselytize and to actually make known the Bhagavatam's philosophy, Bhagavad Dharma, so ostentatiously, openly. When I couldn't see that for long because I had some program, but I saw that it's a beautiful, beautiful. And watching all of them, everybody's stunned. Who are these people? They look so bright, they look so happy, and they're dancing and chanting on the streets. And people become so curious, and they take out prasadam, they take whatever they give, said very nice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. They show their thumbs up, thank you. I like something about you guys. There's something swelling in my heart. I want to come and meet you. Many of them come and meet. They take prasadam in the restaurant, they take a book, they read, friendly. So the impact of a community to show to people that it is doable in this day and age. You can be happy keeping God in the center of your life. The big, huge mistake that society is making in the outside world is to remove God. Secularization of the whole society, I call it. Remove God, keep him aside. Those who want to follow, you can go there. Faith-based people go there. We want to organize things nicely. We don't believe in sentimental stuff. We are rational thinkers, and then all sorts of things happen to them. They don't know how to handle any of those problems because they are not God-centric at all. They want to seemingly show tolerance for religion, but they remove religion, both from their life and from the center of the society. And if anybody wants to, they can go. We're not against it. Anybody can go there and you can do your little bit. Derogatively, disparaging comments. And then all the people get cultured in a different way. That community of Maya's community, it just looks nice outside, but it is just a matter of time. The Maya will always show her real color because that is one of the things you experience, the real naked form of Maya, like God called it. So the stereotyped worldly affairs and beastly followers of these affairs, where they are claiming to be secularist, we don't need religion, they fail. They fail because they don't have a premise, they don't have a foundation from where they can judge what to do and what not to do. That is removed. So whatever you feel you want to do, you do. So everybody starts doing whatever they want to do. And then to adjust and accommodate everybody, they are struggling. No codes. They want to make their own laws, man-made laws. God's laws get lost. We don't want religion of God. We will make our own laws, our own destiny will manage. You can see the communist countries are like that. So even democracy, it is just not functioning at all properly. It's not functioning at all properly. I read in the news sent to me, I wrote to some devotees in Washington, D.C., are you okay? Because there's a whole mob of the Trump followers, blasted inside the Capitol, and the meeting was going on and everything was right inside. And people died in the stampede and everything. So people are wondering what a democracy means. How can you do like this? That's what happens. You may think it is democracy, but Prabhupada said it's demon crazy. It's not democracy. Because when people don't have God, when people don't have any premise and foundation from where they can start, what is right, what is wrong, what is bad, what is good for your life and for your progression, if they don't know that and they're not conducted and told and directed from a higher source, and if they're manufacturing everything on their own, impossible. It's impossible. Although you by logic and argument and reason, many things you will say, it's not about winning an argument. It's about the final result. So, godless civilization, all the criterion become different. Beastly affairs, beastly followers, animalistic, lusty, greatly exploitative, very greedy. These are all the people together making the man-made laws. But on the other side, why sit and do all these things? Reinvent the wheel. Already the law is there. Why don't you just follow it and you get prosperity? Don't worry, your material life will never be spoiled by God. God is very happy to help you with your material life and your ambitions. Just keep Him in the center. He understands that you're a diseased fellow. He understands that you want some amount of material enjoyment. He will adjust it and do it in such a way that you can progress spiritually and have gratification. This is Kardama Muni's proposal, and he also knows the other side of it. Om Tat Sat. Shri Ki Jai. Any question or comment? No question, no comment. Om Tat Sat. Hare Krishna.